The person who will eventually shatter your trust starts with a tap, a tiny, almost imperceptible probe to see what gives. By the end of this video, you will learn to feel that first tap for what it is, a calibration. You'll understand the subtle language of boundary testing that happens long before any real damage is done. And chances are, you're misinterpreting these signals as harmless quirks in people you currently like, and even trust. The first test is almost always disguised as a small, reasonable request. It's so minor that to say no would feel strange, even rude. They ask to borrow a book. They ask you for 5 minutes of your time to help with something simple. They ask you to spot them for coffee because they forgot their wallet. Each of these is a tiny inconvenience, a request you grant without a second thought. You are being helpful. You are being a good friend, a good partner, a good colleague. These are compliance tests, small hurdles they ask you to jump, just to see if you will. Each yes is a data point. It tells them you are helpful, it tells them you prefer to be agreeable, it might even tell them you dislike confrontation. Psychologist Robert Cialdini documented how this works in the principle of commitment and consistency. Once we say yes to something small, we feel an internal pressure to keep saying yes to larger, related requests to maintain a consistent identity. The boundary tester uses this instinct. The first small favor is the anchor. The next request will be slightly bigger. The 5 minutes of help becomes 15. The coffee becomes lunch. The borrowed book becomes a borrowed piece of more valuable equipment. If you hesitate, they can refer back to your previous helpfulness, creating a subtle pressure. You helped before. Why is this time different? The shift is so gradual it's almost invisible. You're just being nice. But a pattern is being established. You are being conditioned to say yes. This initial probing of your willingness to comply is just the first layer. It's about establishing a baseline of your behavior. It's low risk for them, and each successful request reinforces their perception of you as a resource. They are learning the path of least resistance. It all feels so normal, so benign. That is the entire point. The groundwork is being laid for something more invasive, because this is just about getting you used to saying yes. The next phase is about getting you used to questioning yourself. The second test often arrives disguised as a joke. It's a slightly too personal comment, a backhanded compliment, or a barb aimed at a known insecurity, followed quickly by a laugh. Wow, you actually spoke up in that meeting. Look at you. Or, that outfit is certainly a choice, only you could have the confidence to wear that. The content of the remark makes you flinch, just for a second. There's a sting, but the delivery is light, wrapped in the protective packaging of humor. When you show a flicker of hurt or annoyance, the trap is sprung. They immediately say, "Hey, I was just joking. Can't you take a joke? You're being too sensitive." This is a brilliant and insidious tactic. In a single move, they reframe the entire interaction. The focus shifts from their inappropriate comment to your inappropriate reaction. This flips the script. Suddenly, your reaction feels like the problem. Their action fades into the background. You are now the one who is creating an issue, the one who is killing the mood. This is a test of your emotional boundaries. Are you willing to stand up for your own feelings even when it creates social awkwardness? Or will you swallow the discomfort and laugh along to prove you're a good sport? How many times have you forced a smile at a comment that made your stomach clench, just to keep the peace? Every time you do, you send a clear message. My feelings are negotiable. You signal that their comfort is more important than your own. They learn that they can use humor as a tool to say things that are otherwise unacceptable. It becomes a free pass to make digs, to undermine you, to express passive aggression without any accountability. They are calibrating your response to disrespect. They are finding out if you will absorb small doses of poison to avoid making a scene. Once they've tested your emotional armor and found it pliable, they start testing your most finite, most personal resource. The next probe targets your time. It begins with small incursions, a text message late at night about something that could easily wait until morning, a phone call during your dinner hour, an email landing on a Sunday afternoon with an expectation of an immediate reply. These are tests of accessibility. They are designed to see if your personal time is truly your own or if it's available to them on demand. Each time you reply instantly to that 10 p.m. text, you are training them that the workday never really ends. This escalates to physical time. A friend who shows up at your door unannounced. assuming you have nothing better to do. A colleague who is consistently 10 or 15 minutes late to your meetings, signaling that their time is more valuable than yours and that you are expected to wait. They will ask you to stay a little later after work for a quick thing that turns into an hour. They will schedule things at the last minute, creating a sense of urgency and obligation that makes it difficult to say no. This is about establishing a power dynamic. The person who controls the time controls the relationship. By constantly making you wait, or by demanding your time outside of agreed upon hours, they place themselves in a position of authority. Your schedule becomes secondary to their whims. Your plans are seen as flexible, theirs as rigid. Each accommodation you make confirms this hierarchy. You are slowly being taught that your time is a communal resource, one that they have a right to access whenever they see fit. They are eroding the boundary between your life and their needs. This relentless accessibility makes it harder for you to recharge, to focus on your own priorities, and to maintain relationships with other people. The expectation of being constantly available creates a low-grade background stress. It's a foothold. From there, they move to control your social world. After testing your compliance, your feelings, and your time, the boundary pusher moves to test your allegiances. They begin to subtly isolate you. This process is rarely dramatic. It works by creating a quiet narrative where it is us against the world. They will find small faults with the other important people in your life, your friends, your family, your trusted colleagues. The comments are casual, framed as concern. "I don't know, your friend Mark seems a little bit jealous of your success, don't you think?" Or, "Your sister is always so critical. I just worry she doesn't appreciate you." They might question the advice of a mentor or cast doubt on the loyalty of a longtime friend. Are you sure you can trust them with that information? I just want to protect you. Each comment is a small seed of doubt, a tiny wedge driven between you and your support system. This is a loyalty test. They are watching your reaction. Do you defend your friend? Do you correct their perception of your family? Or do you stay silent? Or even worse, do you agree with them to maintain harmony in the moment? Your silence is interpreted as agreement. Your agreement is taken as a confirmation. They learn that your other relationships are open to criticism. They learn they can influence your perception of the people you rely on. Every time you fail to push back, you help them build a wall around you, brick by brick. They are positioning themselves as the only person who truly understands you, the only one you can really trust. As other voices are diminished, their voice becomes louder, their influence grows. This manufactured isolation has a purpose. It's to make their version of reality the only one you hear, which sets the stage for the most powerful test of all, rewriting your memory of what actually happened. This is the final and most disorienting test. It's the first draft of gaslighting. It begins with small, almost trivial revisions of shared history. They will insist an event happened in a way that it didn't. They'll deny saying something you clearly remember them saying. They'll confidently state that you were the one who made a specific promise or agreement when you know you didn't. For example, you both agree to meet at 7 o'clock. They arrive at 7:30 and say with complete conviction, "We definitely said 7:30. You must be remembering it wrong." You bring up a promise they made last week and they look at you with genuine confusion and say, "I would never have said that. That conversation didn't happen." It's delivered with such certainty that it makes you pause. For a brief moment, you question your own mind. Could I be wrong? Maybe I did mishear. This is a direct assault on your perception of reality. They are testing whether you trust your own memory or their version of events more. The specific issue is irrelevant. The argument over whether it was 7 or 7:30 is a smokescreen. The real prize is getting you to doubt your own sanity. If they can make you concede on small verifiable facts, they can later make you concede on larger, more important truths. Of course, people do genuinely misremember things. The pattern is what matters. Does their forgetfulness always, without fail, benefit them? Does it consistently absolve them of responsibility or position you as the one who is unreasonable? One person forgetting a detail is noise. A consistent pattern of self-serving amnesia is a signal. It's a probe to find out if your reality is editable. Once they know it is, they hold the pen. So you see the pattern. You recognize the tests. The standard advice is to set a firm boundary. But that advice often backfires. And there is a very specific reason for that. The reason a big, dramatic boundary-setting conversation often fails is because the testing phase was never about finding the boundary itself. It was about calibrating your reaction to conflict. By the time they have made a significant violation, they have already collected dozens of data points on you. They know you dislike confrontation. They know you will laugh at an insult to keep the peace. They know you will accommodate their schedule. They know you can be made to doubt your own memory. They have already done their research. Stating a boundary to someone who has systematically dismantled your willingness to enforce it is like drawing a line in the sand after you've already given them the bulldozer. The effective solution is to respond to the test itself. You address the probes when they are small and seemingly insignificant. You disrupt their data collection. When they make the inappropriate joke, a quiet, firm response is all that's needed. You don't have to get angry. A simple, "I don't find that funny," delivered calmly, is enough. It ends the conversation. It shows them your feelings are not negotiable. You have failed their test, which from your perspective is a success. When they send the late-night text, you respond in the morning. Your action teaches them when you are available. When they are consistently late, you start the meeting without them. Or you leave after waiting a reasonable amount of time. You enforce the value of your own time through your behavior. When they try to rewrite a memory, you hold your ground calmly. "My memory of our conversation is very clear. We agreed to 7. You don't argue. You just state your reality without apology. You show them your perception is not for sale. Each of these small actions sends a powerful meta-message. It tells them their initial calibration was wrong. You are a more difficult target than they thought. The path of least resistance leads somewhere else. This isn't about winning a series of arguments. It's about becoming an unprofitable target for manipulation. A boundary isn't a wall you declare in a single conversation. It's a price you consistently enforce through small, everyday actions. The testers are looking for a discount. Show them there isn't one.